But we begin in New York, where 12 people continue to weigh Donald Trump's legal fate. This is the second day of deliberations in the former U.S. president's hush money trial. So far, the jury has asked for clarification on a number of issues. The CBC's Chris Reyes is outside the Manhattan criminal court. So, Chris, what's been happening so far today?
You know, Andrew, if these walls could talk, right, that is what's happening inside this building right behind me, where this jury of 12 have been deliberating for the second day now. And they have asked a couple of questions, some requests. So this morning they were brought back into the courtroom because they requested to rehear some testimony from the prosecution's star witness, Michael Cohen, as well as former publisher of the National Enquirer, David Pecker, who was the first to take the stand. So very interesting that they've asked for this. They specifically wanted to rehear transcripts from testimony about that meeting in 2015 when this so-called alleged conspiracy happened between Pecker, Cohen, and Trump, when they hatched this catch and kill scheme. And we've heard the prosecution say that the moment that happened, it amounted to unlawful campaign contributions. And remember, this judge told the jury during his instructions that they cannot convict Trump alone based on Cohen's testimony because he's considered an accomplice in this case. So they would have to corroborate his evidence with that of other witnesses. So it's very likely that may be the reason that they wanted to hear, once again, these testimonies side by side. They've also asked to be reread those jury instructions once again. Remember, they didn't get a written copy, and this was an hour and a half long. I mean, it is a struggle for us, for lawyers, to explain these charges, and this jury likely needing clarifications as they try to deliberate. That they've been asking for clarifications on intent. The judge told this jury that in order to convict Donald Trump on these charges, they would have to find beyond a reasonable doubt that he not only falsified business records, but that there was intent to cover up other crimes, which include affecting the 2016 elections, as well as a number of other crimes, including federal campaign laws. And they don't have to agree on those crimes, but they do have to agree on intent. And they had asked for clarifications on this rain metaphor that the judge used, basically that you can infer that it's raining outside if you see an umbrella that's wet. You don't necessarily have to see that it actually rained. I mean, you can understand here why this is complicated. The puzzle pieces that this jury has to put together in order to come to a decision is really mind-boggling. Now, you might be wondering, what does Donald Trump have to say about all of this? He's saying the same thing over and over again outside of that courtroom. He certainly took his chance today. Have a listen to what he said.
I just want to say that this is a very sad day for America. The whole world is watching, and it's a very sad day for New York. I've gone through 2 of these trials already. It's with the same kind of a judge. It's all worked. It's all rigged. The whole thing, the whole system is rigged. Judge Engoron was overturned 5 times in my case, and he's going to be overturned again. And we were treated very, very badly. And the outside world is watching, and the outside world is just not going to bring their business to New York.
Right now, Andrew, court's on break till 2 p.m. And then the jury will continue to deliberate. And remember, there's no time limit to how long they could take to come to a decision. And they could make more requests. They could ring that court buzzer that always, keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, it sure did yesterday, and it sure will in the future if that happens. The jurors, Chris, have a range of options to choose from. So can you walk us through what they are?
Some of the instructions from the judge was really straightforward, very common in a criminal case. The first is that in order to convict, they have to find Donald Trump guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And so they would have to unanimously come to a decision to convict Donald Trump. They also have to come to a unanimous decision if they find him guilty. If just one juror decides that they can't make up their mind, then it becomes a hung jury, and this is declared a mistrial. So those are really the 3 options that we're working with. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about what's happening in that deliberation room. Like I said earlier, if only those walls could talk. Earlier today, we talked to Andrew Giuliani, son of Rudy Giuliani, who has spent some time with Donald Trump, and he shared with us some of his thoughts. Have a listen to what he had to say.
I think the Trump team, though, looks at it as, and I didn't get this directly from him, but talking to some other members of the team, the longer this jury deliberates, the better it is for them. It means the better chance of a hung jury. I don't think they're expecting in a place like Manhattan that voted 86% for Joe Biden, 79% for Alvin Bragg. I think that number will be in the 70s this year, but still pretty significantly tilting blue. I don't think they expect an acquittal, even if the evidence shows an acquittal. I think they're hoping for a hung jury here.
And Andrew, I just want to leave this by talking a little bit about the jury, because there was so much focus and attention on jury selection. And then, you know, they sort of went to the backdrop as this 5-week trial went on. Remember, this is a jury of 12 New Yorkers. They all had to take an oath that they would be fair in these deliberations, that they would not be biased against Donald Trump because of who he is. We do know some few details about those jurors, including that 2 of them are lawyers. They're not criminal lawyers. One is a civil litigator, another one is a corporate lawyer. But at least 2 of those jurors have gone to law school and likely went through some kind of court class like the one that they're living through now. And then the others in that jury, an investment banker, a speech therapist, cross-section really of professions here in New York. And by all accounts, this jury has taken their job very seriously, listening attentively throughout the entire trial, including some testimony and closing and opening statements that really went on like a marathon. And so no doubt that inside that room, they're deliberating very carefully and very thoughtfully. And a good sign of that are those questions that they're asking.
Chris, so much to watch for. We know you'll be there. Thank you. The CBC's Chris Reyes live in New York.